Gang, man, what it do, gang? You already know what time it is when you see me. You feel me? It's time to get into these sports. We got the NBA draft, man. So if you didn't see, I already have done my my mock draft. Now it's time to do my winners and losers, man. So y'all stay tuned. Be sure to hit that like, sub. Y'all already know what time it is, man. Feel me? Let's get into it, gang. Yeah. Hey. Yeah. Hey, you already know the fuck going on.
Better stand that shit.
Nigga, you already know what going on.
SOB, you better stand on business.
Yeah, SOB shit, you already know what going on. Stand on that shit.
Yeah. Well, fuck it. I keep that camera rolling, bitch, so I can show you how to ball. Don't put no trust up in these niggas, slime you out behind that wall. I have a scale, referee on every play, I make that call. Won't catch me loving.
What's good, y'all, man? If you're new to the channel, welcome. You feel me? And don't waste my time. Go ahead and hit that like button, man. Hit that subscribe, man, while you here. And go ahead and enjoy the vibes, man. I am giving my winners and my losers. So we not going over every team. If you want me to go over every team and how they look after the draft, y'all let me know in the comments. But let's get into it, man. Let's start off with our winners, man. So the obvious winners are obviously Dallas and San Antonio, picking up Cooper Flag first. I mean, obvious choice. Dylan Harper and Carter Bryant both went to the Spurs. The Spurs got an extra guard on handy for the future. Um, Very promising guard, has a great future ahead of him. Good downhill, he can pass, he can see the floor, and he can score at will. He has a great scoring ability outside the line and insides. So I'm not mad at that, man. You can't go wrong with either one of those. But let's get into the other winners, man. My first winner is the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks made some moves before the draft, which was trading George Niang to Boston for Kristaps Porzingis, and I believe they gave them a second round pick. I can't remember what else Atlanta received other than Kristaps, but of course that's the meat and potatoes. They traded him for basically crumbs. Boston trying to get off of a lot of money, which makes sense. They also got rid of Drew Holiday. Um, Atlanta just capitalized, man. We all know Kristaps is not known to be healthy, but if he can stay healthy, this is definitely going to be a promising pick and roll with him and Trae Young for sure. Jalen Johnson is supposed to be back. They got a lot of depth in the wing position, a lot of defense, a lot of long arms in there in that lane. So I think it's going to get ugly next year for real, especially on the defensive end, because you gotta kind of shield Trae Young because he's such a liability on defense, being that he's small and not really active on the ball the way he needs to be. Also not as strong, so he can't really do nothing in the post either. So once he gets blown by you, literally somebody has to make up for that. So I'm not mad at it. They also made a move in the draft as well. Just kept it calm. They made a swap with the Pelicans to draft Asa Noel, 23rd from Georgia. Also, they get a 2026, I believe, I can't remember if protected or unprotected, first round pick, most favorable of New Orleans or Milwaukee. So whichever one has the worst season, Atlanta then takes that pick. And the Pelicans end up getting Derek Queen with a number 13 pick moving up in the draft. I'm not totally mad at it. I feel like Pelicans could have did better. The Hawks did exactly what they needed to do. They got height. They needed a little bit more height. You need something to make up for Kristaps Porzingis in case he's not there or coming off that bench. You need a little bit more depth. The East is wide open right now. So I definitely like Atlanta coming in, being strong, making these moves early on, getting rid of dead weight, and just basically just trying to formulate this team around Trae Young one last time before he just basically decides that he's not taking it no more and he's ready to go. So they are my first winners in the draft. Next winners in the draft is Utah, man. So Utah has been a very troublesome team for some time, and it's kind of hard to see where the upside is considering that they've been bad for so long. I mean, we talking about ever since Darren Williams left, essentially. Like, we really haven't heard nothing from the Utah Jazz, but they did capitalize getting a lot of young talent in this draft, man. I'm telling you, they got a lot of young talent in this draft, and I'm not mad at it. Uh, they got Ace Bailey with their first pick. Uh, do I think that was the right pick? Maybe, maybe not. Ace Bailey is a really selfish player. I love his game. Don't get me wrong. Like, he's phenomenal, but the way he went about the whole draft process, controversial or not, I don't think his game is good enough to be on that caliber. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course he was a top five pick, but as far as transitioning to the next level, I don't know how fluent it's gonna be for him as it is for some of the other prospects in their situations, because Utah literally has nothing. You could have went to Philly. You could have went to go work out. They could have changed their mind on Dylan Harper. Ended up wanting to go get some more wing depth, but instead you didn't work out for no team. Utah drafted you, and then we all get the whole controversial thing. Him looking all upset, whatnot, whatnot. So I'm not mad at the pick overall. I do feel like it is gonna do nothing but help Utah. I mean, like I said, they're trying to get off of a lot of money. They did, I believe, just extend John Collins, but I know they're looking to try to get off of the Lauri Markkanen contract. I know Golden State is looking at him. They're also potentially getting off of Colin Sexton and maybe a couple others. I know the Lakers are looking at uh, uh, Walker Kessler. I couldn't remember his name. I know the Lakers are looking at Walker Kessler. A lot of teams are looking for either a backup center and or a starting center. So I definitely think they're going to be moving some pieces around. They didn't really get. Oh, excuse me. They didn't really get a center in this draft. So I don't really know what they're going to do about that. Maybe try to pick up something in free agency. But they also managed to get Walter Clayton Jr. They ended up doing a trade with the Wizards, moving up in the draft to get Walter Clayton Jr. Just won the NCAA championship at Florida. Great guard. I believe he's averaging around 19 points a game. Great shooter, great facilitator. Again, he just like Dylan Harper a little bit. I think he's a little bit shorter, actually, maybe by an inch or so. But he can do all the same things. He's great at facilitating the ball. He can get downhill. He can score off the pick and roll. I mean, he can pretty much do everything you need. Now, where the problem is going to come in at, I believe, is they got some other guards, they got some other space that they need to clear up. And I don't really know how it's going to work as of now, but I do know that it, they should be better than 17 games next year. That's what I try to say. They should be better than 17 games. I mean, they got Keontae George still. Like I said, they may get off of Lauri Markkanen. They may get off of. I know they're gonna get a whole bunch of dead weight like KJ Martin, Micah Potter, things like that. Like a lot of things are going. Jaden Springer, just dead weight that's just not doing anything. I know they're gonna try to get off, try to bring in some extra players for the free agency. They gonna free up some money. So I got them as my winner for the potential. You know what I'm saying? Uh, I don't know what they're gonna do about Isaiah Collier or Jordan Clarkson. I think Jordan Clarkson is coming up on extension talks as well. But I know it's tough. I know a lot of people gonna be like, well, whoa, like how? What did they win exactly? Uh, just bringing in the young talent. You know what I'm saying? Having an early draft pick, they could have botched it. You feel me? Like they could have botched it. Like they could have literally sold this pick, but they didn't. You know, they did what they did what they should have done with that pick. But I mean, I don't know, man. It's hard to say. But I did have them as one of my winners just simply because getting Ace Bailey does give you at least something to build around. Now, with the uncertainty of everybody else, it does give you something to build around, and hopefully they work that out. My next winners in this NBA draft is the Phoenix Suns, man. So I got the Phoenix Suns in here because they did also exactly what they need to do. So it was a lot of controversy around the trade with Kevin Durant to Houston for Jalen Green and just a bunch of nonsense, bro. They already had too many guards. Adding Jalen Green to the mix doesn't give you a ball handler, doesn't give you any depth in the backcourt. I mean, in the front court, excuse me. But uh, they did exactly what they need to do. So right in the middle of the draft, they end up trading for Mark Williams. Traded for Mark Williams during the draft from Charlotte, and then one of the picks from the Kevin Durant trade was the 10th pick in the draft. The Phoenix Suns originally had the 10th pick. They ended up trading it to the Rockets uh, for Kaman Maluach, the center from Duke, young center. Um, I believe they mainly got him for defense. Mark Williams has more of the scoring upside when it come down to the two of them, but it does give you something to back up Mark Williams for his injury prone and what have you. Whatever he lacks, you can kind of make up for in Maluach, and he can kind of be your growth through the future. They did just opt out of re-signing Bobo as well, so that does tell you more about where they're planning on going with Maluach. They plan on probably investing a lot more into him. Um, and it just gives Devin Booker somebody to have a pick and roll with. Uh, Maluach is a great lob threat. He's a great defender. I don't know how well he is on the perimeter. I know he's not the best scorer. He can score when you need him to, but he's just not efficient. And he's that's not what you're putting him in the game for. You're mainly putting him in the game for defense. I look at him more as a maybe as a Clint Capella type player. Like he can score, he can have a decent game, give you 15 and 12, but you're mainly looking for the 12. That's what you're mainly looking for. 12, maybe 2 to 3 blocks, a lot of defensive stops, just basically good rebounding, offense and defense. It's just that's mainly it. You know what I'm saying? Mainly looking for somebody to wall up, protect the rim, and just don't turn the ball over. You feel me? Essentially. So but I do love where the Suns are trying to go. I can see the vision. Again, this is why I'm calling them the winners because, again, the draft is all speculation. We only can speculate what these players can become. We don't really know truly what they're going to be. And a lot, of course, that does play a part in why my winners are teams that made moves outside of the draft. Because moving up, moving down, if you don't make the right move with it, it doesn't really matter. The Nets are a prime example. They made no moves and drafted terrible out of their 5 picks. The first time ever having 5 picks, and they botch it. So, you know what I'm saying? What can you do with it? But I'm not mad at the Suns. They also managed to get Rasheer Fleming from the Timberwolves, which I feel like is a very sneaky pick, and it's gonna benefit them in the long run. Rasheer Fleming, not a bad player at all. He gives you size. He's 6'8". He's versatile. He plays a lot of minutes. He played a lot of minutes in school. He's a junior, so he's been around for a little minute. He's a little bit more mature. He averaged 14 and a half, a little over 14, 53, 39, 74 on shooting percentages, 8.5 rebounds, 1.5 blocks, almost 1.5 steals, and uh, 1.3 assists. Now, not a very good passer. You're not really looking for him to pass. You're mainly probably looking for him for defense. Maybe give you a good pick and pop on the shots. Uh, Cover the passing lanes, things of that sort. The drop down in coverage, things like that. Kind of help on defense. Long arms. Things like that. You're not really looking for him to just pop off, and that's cool though because he's also mature, so he also knows the game. He's been around for a little bit. He's not as new to this as some of the younger guys are going to be when it comes down to being in a system. He's used to a system now. That's all college is getting you ready for a system. That's why a lot of times it takes the freshmen to a little bit longer to grow than the upperclassmen that come out. It's just being 18, 19, bro. You got to learn a little bit. You feel me? You got to learn. But I will say I do like this pick a lot. Getting him in the second round was a steal, if you ask me. Got Kobe Brie. Uh, Also, again, not really a bad pick. It's another guard. He's a little bit taller though, 6'6". He's a little bit older as well. He's a senior. Um, they got this pick from the Golden State Warriors. Uh, I can't remember what trade this was or what involved this, but he didn't really get a lot of minutes. Not really a scoring guard. I believe this is just one of those kind of just I'm not gonna call it a shot in the dark pick because that would really be a knock against him. But he's a decent shooter, so you kind of get that shooting upside. Maybe you can get some spark from him coming off the bench, and you kind of got to add some depth to this team. You can't just put all your eggs in one basket as far as trying to hone in on the starting lineup because we don't still know the structure of the starting lineup. But he can come in and give you a little bit of facilitation, a little bit of ball handling. He's decent on that end. I believe he averaged uh ah, I take that back. Maybe not the best passer, more of the shooting upside. 43.5%. At Kentucky, he shot 49%. As a junior on 29 minutes a game. And he even shot 42.3% the year before on 21.8 minutes. So he's a decent shooter. I believe that's more so the upside with him. Uh, but yeah, man, I still got Phoenix as a winner coming out of this draft. Those are my winners for this draft. Now let's get into them losers. So now we're gonna get into the losers of the draft, man. Well, my losers of the draft, you feel me? Um, by the way, by losers, I'm not trying to rain on anybody coming into the draft, man. I'm not. All these young boys are talented, man. So before anybody try to bash me, oh, you don't know him, you ain't see him do this on this game and all that. I don't care. It's my personal opinion based on what the team looked like prior and what they needed. So y'all can hold them. My first losers are going to be the Chicago Bulls, man. So Chicago didn't really do what they needed to do, what I think they needed to do, which was try to move some pieces around in order to get a higher spot in the draft. I know they were projected to get a higher pick early on. They started winning some games. Kobe White really started coming into himself, and they kind of pushed him out of that, and somehow the Mavs moved up into the number one spot. But that's neither here nor there. They still didn't capitalize off of their picks. There was a lot of good picks still available, and they managed to draft Noah Asange and Rocco Zakarski with their second round pick. The first round pick was Noah Asange at 12. I'm not going to go back and see who all was still available at that time. But just know and just trust me, there was a lot of good picks still available. Even the pick right after him, Derek Queen, I feel like Chicago could have capitalized off of and used him in that fast-paced kind of offense. They don't really have a lot of defense over there. Noah doesn't add to that defense. He's tall. He's listed at 6'10". He's probably about between 6'9", 6'8" to 6'10" range. They be kind of giving and taking away inches from people, so he can be anywhere from there. But I felt like they needed a definite scoring threat. That's what I feel like they needed, regardless on what position that was. I feel like other people could move around, but essentially I feel like they needed a scoring threat. Um, being that as it may, they still chose to do what they do because of whatever reason. They do got a lot of free agents that's coming off of the books. A few people that's expecting some extensions. I don't know who they're going to extend. I know they're going to keep Matas Buzelis. I know they're going to keep Lonzo. I know they're going to keep Kobe White. I don't know if they're going to move off of Ayo. You probably could throw him in a little package with something during free agency, along with Vucevic. I know they're looking to come off Vucevic. They did pick up Zach Collins in a trade, I think at the deadline last year. So you got him, and you just picked up the big guy, Rocco Zakarski, from Australia. Don't really know a lot about the foreign player. They picked up two foreign players, actually. Noah and Rocco are both foreign. Noah's from France. Rocco's from Australia, which is kind of crazy that they draft two foreign players, but whatever. Noah has a lot more upside. He's an athletic, forward, big man, wingish type player. You can kind of throw him in that hybrid position, kind of like I don't really know. I don't really know what to compare him to right now. But you can probably kind of keep Kevin Herter more in that 2 to 3 role and kind of move him to that 3 to 4 role if you need to in a second unit or however you want to do it based on how his defense is and how his scoring is with the flow of the offense and however they want to run it. We know Lonzo should be back next year. Kobe White came into himself, like I said previously. So, I'm not totally mad at it. It could end up working out or be decent, but I don't see them being nowhere near in the top 10 in the East this year, even though the East is wide open. I just feel like they could have capitalized more, being that the East is so down right now, so down in the dumps. I mean, they finished last season with 39 games. So this year, just based on what the East looks like and how most of the powerhouse teams aren't going to be as strong this year, they should be at least able to get at least to 500. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I don't know. It's not looking too good. I'm not really confident in it, which is why I've had to put them in my losers category. But it is what it is. My next losers on the list has to be Brooklyn. So I mentioned Brooklyn already. They have 5 picks in NBA draft, y'all. 5 picks. The first pick was a number 8 pick, and I thought that they would have tried to trade that pick or maybe one of their other first round picks because I believe they had all 5 in the first round, and they chose to get Igor Demin. He's not a scorer. He has a 27% 3-point shooting average. He can pass the ball, but he also averages 3 turnovers. He's not that great at the free throw line. He's just not who I would have got at 8. And when I say there were beyond way more picks to pick from than him, um, but I guess they have a type. Like everybody keeps saying, they have a type, and they definitely went for that type. They got again just bottom tier. Like the only good pick that I actually was like, okay, cool, was Danny Wolf, and not really sure if Danny Wolf would have made it to the second round, but I feel like you could have pushed to get that in that 1 second round pick. They ended up trading that pick with LA to get a dude Thero. It's just like, why, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's 6'6", listed as a forward, so he's gonna be on the small side. You kind of need a little bit more ball handling. Um, I don't know, bro. Danny Wolf is the only one that I was really like, okay, cool. I like this pick. He's 6'11" from Michigan. He can handle the ball. He's the only one that can really create his own shot, and he's the best shooter out of their entire draft class to the Brooklyn Nets. I just don't really understand what the goal was if it wasn't to trying to maximize your capital. They have the most draft capital this season, and they literally did nothing with it. They just sat on their hands and just did nothing. And I just can't respect that. So I had to put them in my losers tier. You don't have 5 first round picks. I don't believe if the Lakers had 5 first round picks, the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Denver Nuggets didn't have no picks in this draft. I'm pretty sure if you gave them 5 first round, they would have came out with something better than Igor Demin. And it's no shade to Igor, bro, but to pick 8 was Nolan Traore, again, 19, super high for him, bro. You know what I'm saying? Kasparis went 20 to the Heat. To me, they're on 2 different stratospheres when they come down to play style overall. Like, it doesn't, nothing screamed off the page to me, and I just don't like it, bro. I'm not a fan of it. I don't like it at all. Throw it away. Tomatoes, tomatoes, tomatoes. Next losers on the list is Toronto. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, but uh, what's his name? Bro got 3 names. I forgot his name that fast. I forgot his name. Colin Murray Bulls. Okay. Now, I'm not as familiar with this game. I didn't watch a lot of South Carolina this year. I know he's athletic. I know he is a decent defender, and I know he can play make. But y'all didn't need another forward. That's where I'm at with it. I'm tired of teams. I wish teams with some teams. I understand the numbers 1 through 5. You're trying to get the best available. Period. I feel like after that, going deeper into the lottery, it's time to start getting fit. It's time to start getting fit. You need something that fits with the offense. You need something that meshes with what you already have going on. You didn't spend all that money and all that time to go get Brandon Ingram to partner him up with Scotty Barnes. You also have a taller Grady Dick, which can play that hybrid guard forward position for you. To now go get Colin Murray Bulls when you need more depth in the front court. You need another center. You need another center. Jakob Poeltl is fine. He's great. But if he was to go out, what's your backup plan? I mean, the other centers, they're okay, but they're not going to give you what needs to be done, and they're kind of on the smaller side. People are now getting into the bigger style centers. If you're not going to get a stretch like KCP or Cat or something like that, and even with Cat and KCP, they're great rebounders. Once you go on the small end and they can't shoot, they can't score, they can't set screens, they're not really paint protectors. What do you have them out there for? They're literally a cone at that point. They're literally a cone. So I feel like they just wasted their opportunity as well to kind of capitalize on this new team that they're trying to build around. We don't know if they're going to keep RJ Barrett. We don't know what they're going to do with Boucher or Garrett Temple. It's just, I just feel like they need to let go of some dead weight, and they haven't done that soon enough in order to make the best of that draft pick. Now, Kyler Murray Bowles, he could end up being a phenomenal pick. He can end up being a phenomenal defensive wing for them. They don't necessarily need him to score, but he does have scoring capability. Now, he's not the best at, like I said, shooting and whatnot, but he can still come in and give you what you need. You feel me? He averaged his sophomore year 16, 8, 2, and 2, which is 2 steals, almost 1.5 blocks per game. He played basically the whole season, so he's very healthy. Um, he seems to be a good hard worker, and he can be a good role player, good hustle player, to come in and fill in that role on the second unit. But it's just like you didn't really need that. You know what I'm saying? You still could have been fine without it. I feel like, or you could have made a better move in free agency. Now I feel like their hands are kind of tied when it comes down to that. But who knows? We'll see. Free agency is literally next week, I believe, or maybe week after. I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comments. I believe it's week after. Uh, I think it's week after next. But yeah, man. Definitely had to throw them in my losers, man. Not a total L like the rest of the teams, but I definitely think this is a losing team for sure. I mean, a losing pick in the draft. Like you could have got something better. It's still a good pick though. It's still a good pick. I ain't gonna lie. I'm kind of 50-50 on it, but I did throw them in there, so I do have to acknowledge why I threw them in there. Losers on this list, last but certainly not least, the Memphis Grizzlies. They selected Cedric Coward at number 11. Um, they swapped picks with the Blazers. The Blazers ended up selecting Young Hansen. They calling them the Chinese Jokic, which I think is crazy, but that to me would have been a better pick for the kind of lacklusterness you're getting out of Zach Edey. I mean, he's decent. Don't get me wrong. Zach Edey is all right, but he didn't really give you anything, and now he's been getting in a little bit of trouble. So you kind of need to have a contingency plan when it comes down to players that don't have a good track record. Um, you don't really wanna again put all your eggs in one basket. I mean, he averaged 9 points, 8 rebounds. That's not gonna cut it in the Western Conference. I'm just at 7-4. Like you gotta give me more than that, bro. You gotta give me more than that. I was not happy with him at all. Of course, he's decent around the rim, 58%. Shooting okay, but of course people leaving him wide open. So shooting 34% on barely one attempt is not terrible because I mean it's like he's either making it or he's not. Um, but it's like you know you're not really getting much from him. So I thought they would have tried to get a decent backup option maybe in this draft. Uh, Maybe add some guard depth to help out Ja Morant. He does have, a little bit of injury tendency. Not too much, but enough to where it's like, maybe we need somebody to kind of take that load off of him, you know. But they didn't do that. So, we're here. Um, yeah, I'm not really too hype about Cedric Coward. Don't really see how the future really looks with him in the lineup. I mean, they traded Desmond Bain, and I feel like they're trying to get him in to replace Desmond Bain, right? But he's listed as a forward at 6'6". Again, these kind of smaller forwards aren't going to transition well. They're going to have to switch positions. And can he play the guard spot to the ability that they need him to play the guard position? You know what I'm saying? It's one thing to play the guard position and just, again, be a cone or just kind of be a system guy. But with John Morant out there being such a wild card, you need somebody that can help fill that void in some form or fashion. Now, I'm not really 100% sure how he can fill that role, but he was decent in college. Finished in Washington State with 17 points, seven rebounds, well 18 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Decent shooter. 55% from the field, 40% from the three, 83% from the free throw. Uh, Average about 33 minutes, so playing a lot of minutes in the game. Uh, but he didn't play a lot of games. So that's another thing with me as far as, you know, uh, what to expect out of him. He only played 6 games coming into the draft, so not a lot of film to go off of when it comes down to him. So I feel like this is a lot of just hope and more so speculation on what he could be. We didn't get a full body of work when it was time for this transition right here, so I don't really want to go off of what he did the year before. Um, it's just kind of like, he's an older player, so you expect him to be more mature. He has solid numbers, so he's at least capable. But I'm not really familiar with what injury he had to know if it's going to affect him or not. So all I can go off of is what we know. So he averaged 18, so that's solid. Do I think he can come in and fill the void, like I said, of Desmond Bain fast enough and to the level and ability that they need him to? Not really 100% sure on that. So that's in particular why I put them on my losers list. Um, Other than that, there's not really much I can go off of. So that's kind of why I did that. It's just kind of the unknown for me when it comes down to that. So, but yeah, man. So those are my winners and losers of this year's draft. If you like the list, give me a dub in the chat, man. If you in the comments, man. Excuse me, I'm always streaming, but give me a W in the comments, man. If you didn't like the winners losers list, man, drop a L. Tell me where I went wrong at. Tell me what you like better. Other than that, man, I ain't got nothing else for y'all, man. I love y'all. You feel me? Y'all let me know what y'all think. Like, sub to the channel, man. Like the video, sub to the channel. It's free. Don't waste my time, man. Love y'all, man. We out.